September 11, 2001, a day the world will never forget. But on that tragic morning, one man went through something so unbelievable, it sounds impossible. What if I told you that someone fell from the 22nd floor of a collapsing skyscraper and survived? No parachute, no safety gear, just pure instinct and a miracle. But how did he survive a fall that should have killed him? Was it luck or something else? And is it even humanly possible to walk away from such a disaster? Well, let's find out. Before September 11th, 2001, Pasquale Buzzelli was just an ordinary man living a normal life. He was a structural engineer working for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. His job? Helping design and maintain some of the city's biggest buildings, including the very towers where he worked every day. Outside of work, Pasquale was a family man. He lived in New Jersey with his wife Louise, who was pregnant with their first child. The morning of September 11th started like any other Tuesday. Pasquale woke up early, kissed his wife goodbye, and caught his usual train to the North Tower of the World Trade Center, where his office was on the 64th floor. He grabbed a coffee, rode the elevator up, and settled in for another workday, completely unaware that within minutes, his entire world was about to change. At 8:46 a.m., the first plane, American Airlines Flight 11, slammed into the tower just 20 floors above him. With no time to think, Pasquale Buzzelli's world turned upside down. Dust and debris rained from the ceiling as Pasquale stumbled out of his office. Papers flew everywhere. The air smelled of burning fuel. Panic spread through the floor. Pasquale's first thought? Was that an earthquake? An explosion? What just happened? But as he and his coworkers ran to the windows, the truth became horrifyingly clear. Thick, black smoke billowed from the upper floors. Flames poured out of shattered windows. Something massive had hit the building. But what? Then the realization struck. This was no accident. His heart pounded. He had to get out. But how? The elevators were destroyed. The stairwells were already jammed with terrified people trying to escape. Every second counted. Pasquale had a choice. Stay and wait for help, or risk everything and go down the stairs. He didn't hesitate. He grabbed his briefcase, took one last look at his office, and bolted toward the stairwell. The halls were already filling with people, some shouting, some frozen in fear. Others were frantically calling loved ones. As he pushed through the doors to stairwell B, the scene was overwhelming. Dozens of people, maybe more, were crammed into the narrow staircase, all trying to get down. Some were moving quickly, others cautiously, afraid of what might be waiting below. The air was thick with the smell of smoke and dust. Step by step, floor by floor, they descended. No one knew how bad the damage was. Would the building hold? Would there be another explosion? The only thing they knew for sure, they had to keep moving. Somewhere around the 50th floor, they ran into firefighters climbing up. Their faces were covered in sweat, their heavy gear slowing them down, but they kept going toward the danger. One of them stopped and told the evacuees, "Keep going down. Stay calm. You'll be okay." Pasquale locked eyes with one of the firefighters. A silent exchange. Hope, fear, respect. He didn't know it at the time, but many of these men wouldn't make it out alive. Then just as they reached the 22nd floor, the unimaginable happened. A second explosion, another impact. The building shuddered violently, as if it had been hit again. The stairwell rumbled. People screamed. Some lost their balance and tumbled downward. Pasquale's instincts screamed at him, "Faster! Move faster!" But before he could take another step, the walls around him began to crack. Then, a sound unlike anything he'd ever heard. A deep, terrifying roar. The tower was collapsing, and Pasquale was about to go down with it. In an instant, the floor beneath him vanished. 1 second, he was gripping the stairwell railing. The next, he was falling. The roar of collapsing concrete and steel drowned out everything. Pasquale felt himself weightless, tumbling through the air as the tower came down around him. Debris, dust, shattered glass, all of it spinning in slow motion. This was it. He was going to die. But then something impossible happened. As he fell, miraculously a massive slab of concrete shifted beneath him. It angled downward, almost like a makeshift slide. Instead of dropping straight into the abyss, Pasquale was carried down with the collapsing floors, falling but not free-falling. He felt his body slam against the rubble over and over, each collision threatening to break him apart. Then, darkness, silence, stillness. Pasquale was buried alive. At first, he wasn't sure if he was dead or alive. His body was numb. Thick dust choked his lungs. His ears were ringing. Then, pain, sharp, aching pain. His legs, his arms. But he was breathing. He was alive. When he opened his eyes, he couldn't see anything. Just pitch black. He reached out and felt broken concrete, twisted metal, shattered glass, all around him. But somehow, there was space, a small air-filled pocket in the ruins of the North Tower. He had survived a 22-story fall, but now came the real nightmare, getting out. Pasquale lay trapped in the total darkness, his body crushed beneath concrete and steel. Each breath was agony, his lungs filled with dust. The silence was haunting. No voices, no sirens, just the occasional creak of shifting debris. He tried to move, but pain shot through his body. His legs were pinned, his arms bruised, his foot twisted unnaturally. Panic clawed at him. What if no one finds me? What if I die here? Worse, what if the wreckage caved in again? Then distant voices, faint cries for help. Some stopped suddenly, swallowed by the ruins. Pasquale clenched his fists. I can't die here. Hours passed. He lost track of time, fighting exhaustion, then movement, shifting debris. Was it real or his mind playing tricks? He forced out a scream, "Help! I'm here!" No response. He tried again, his throat burning. Then a reply. "We hear you! Keep talking!" Relief flooded him. Rescuers carefully peeled away the rubble, knowing one wrong move could bury him again. "Stay with us," one called. His vision blurred, his body weak. Then light. Hands reached in. "Got him! He's alive!" Pulled from the wreckage, he gasped for air. Smoke filled the sky, but to him it was the most beautiful sight. As he was carried away, the devastation around him hit hard. So many others hadn't made it. In the hospital, doctors were stunned. Cuts, bruises, a fractured foot. But he was alive. He should have been dead. Why me? Survivor's guilt took hold. Nightmares haunted him. The fall, the screams, the silence. But Pasquale made a choice. To live. His wife Louise and their newborn daughter Hope, born 2 months later, became his reason to move forward. He shared his story, not as luck, but as proof that miracles can happen. Yet every September 11th, he remembers. The fear, the loss, the friends who never made it out. A man who fell 22 stories in a collapsing tower and lived to tell the tale. Was it luck? A miracle? Fate? Whatever the reason, his story stands as a testament to the strength of the human spirit, the will to survive, and the power of second chances. For Pasquale Buzzelli, survival wasn't just about escaping the rubble. It was about understanding why he was given another chance. Before September 11th, life was routine. Work, family, the future. But falling 22 stories and waking up in a world forever changed gave him a new perspective. The warmth of the sun, his daughter's laughter, every hug from his wife, he cherished it all, because he knew how easily it could be taken away. I don't take life for granted anymore, he later shared. I appreciate every single day. But gratitude didn't erase the nightmares, the guilt, or the painful anniversaries. Silence couldn't erase the past. In time, Pasquale realized sharing his story wasn't just healing, it was a way to honor those lost. Today, he speaks to keep their memory alive, attending memorials and teaching his children the weight of that day. His survival wasn't luck, it was a responsibility. Pasquale's story is a reminder. Life is fragile, resilience is powerful, and the true legacy of 9/11 isn't just loss. It's survival, hope, and the importance of cherishing every moment.